Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go through one of my favorite studies, Dave Ramsey's often referenced study. It's a study of millionaires, one of the biggest studies about millionaires that's ever been done. One thing that I really want to get out of this video is people are not exactly who you think they are. The guy with the big chain, the guy that you see on TV. One thing that I always tell people, and it's something that was revealed to me through looking at studies like this, is that the things that you see on TV are the exception, not the rule. They are the exception, not the rule. So a lot of what we're told on TV, or a lot of what we're told growing up, or a lot of what we're told in the media is the exception, not the rule. So you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of them telling me this when somebody's talking to you? Is the purpose so they can get my vote? Do they want to get me emotionally enraged? Do they want me to just hit the like button and hit the links down below because it helps their channel grow? What are they telling me this for? Why are they telling me to buy into these stocks that are supposedly going to the moon? Is it because they're getting the watch time? What is the person's motive who you're talking to? With all that said, let's go ahead and get into this study because I really like this study. But for real though, hit the like button. Ramsey Solutions conducted the largest study of millionaires ever with 10,000 participants. 8 out of 10 millionaires said they invested in their 401k plan. And the top 5 careers for millionaires were engineer, accountant, teacher, manager, and attorney. So what I'm seeing here is engineer, accountant, attorney. Those are specialized fields. So they got skills that people are willing to pay them for. So a lot of this, one thing that's interesting to me about the whole attorney, accountant, engineer thing is that there's this big notion out there of this whole idea of wage slavery, or, the greedy corporation. The greedy corporation is extracting your labor, and they're taking, the excess value, or whatever you want to call it, surplus value. They're taking it from the employee, but that doesn't take into account the fact that if you are being managed, which management is on here as well, if you're being managed, management is a very important skill. Without management, it's like having a basketball team with great players, but a terrible coach. We've seen great teams lose championships or not even make it to championships because they have a terrible coach. So management is a skill that has economic value that cannot be measured. In addition, risk. We have to take into account risk when we're talking about how much is somebody owning the company worth versus going out on your own and starting up your own venture, your own self-employment. So with these people, accountant, attorney, engineer, they have a skill that they can sell on their own accord. And usually these people tend to be, a little bit higher on the IQ intelligence scale. One that's very interesting here is teacher. Why is teacher there? Well, we see here that 8 out of 10 millionaires invested in their 401k plan, and that a lot of them were teachers. So there's a very high participation rate among millionaires. There also seems to be a very high participation rate among teachers, which they have the 403b plan and they tend to participate in that. So that gets them to their millions. So that just kind of shows us, as we'll see later, you don't have to have a whole lot of money to become a millionaire, because the common myth about millionaires is that millionaires are people that make 100,000, 200,000, a lot of money per year, because their savings rate is actually really high. To get to millionaire status, if you saved 5% of your money, it would take you 20 years if you were making $1 million a year. And that's the way people think about it. People think about it as they're making $1 million a year after taxes, so maybe they're only saving a little bit, like I do. So it's kind of projection there. Like, a lot of people don't understand millionaires because they're projecting their own behaviors onto these millionaires. But anyways, moving on. And the last one is 79% of millionaires did not receive an inheritance at all from their parents or family members. And the number of people that actually received an inheritance, but it wasn't the thing that gave them millionaire status, is even higher. That basically means that 4 out of 5 people that are millionaires today did not get there because they inherited their money. What does that tell us? That tells us that people had to work their way there. They didn't just get it inherited. They didn't get it plopped in their lap, which, like I said before, is the exception, not the rule. Okay, so we already said 8 out of 10 millionaires invested in their company's 401k, which the reason why I think that this is super important is because, for one, there's tax advantages. For two, most people are not going to beat the market by picking stocks. I like to pick stocks because it's interesting to me. It makes my savings rate go higher because I enjoy doing it. And I'm not going to disillusion myself and say like, oh, I'm the stock picking guru. I'm the next Warren Buffett. I can read as many books as I want. I can look at as many strategies as I want, but the market's going to do what the market's going to do. To say that you're going to outperform the market for sure is basically to say that you know the future. You know what's going to happen. You predicted the COVID-19 pandemic. You know that, somebody's doing something shady in the business. There's signs, there's probabilities, but there's no guarantees in the stock market. So I actually like this. They talk about single stock investments weren't even in the top 3 of reasons why they said they built their wealth, which makes sense to me, not just from the sense of taking risk in single stocks, but also from the sense of investing is not going to be the thing that brings you to wealth. It can be the thing that brings somebody else to wealth that's selling you a course about how to get these 20% compounded returns. However, at the end of the day, you have to get something going that's going to bring you into money, because as much as we want to dance around it, you have to bring in some money. That's going to be the number one thing. The things that you can affect are your savings rate, how much you're earning, and what type of return you're getting. So the one that you have the least effect over is the type of return that you're getting. The one that you have the most effect over is how much you're earning and your savings rate. So of those 3 things, you should be focused the most on your savings rate, or in other words, controlling your spending, and how much you're earning, or in other words, looking for opportunities. So moving on here, the people in the study said they became millionaires by saving consistently over time. In fact, they worked and saved and invested for an average of 28 years before hitting the millionaire mark, and most of them reached that milestone at 49 years old. So if you think about the prototypical millionaire in real life, it's 49 years old. If you think about the prototypical millionaire on the internet, it's 30 years old, and they sacrificed and they did this fire. Everybody wants to be financial independence, retired early, but the prototypical millionaire is actually 49 years old. So funny side note is, like, if we want to tax people, we want to raise taxes on millionaires, most people that actually earn a high income, it's because it's old people that are withdrawing from their 401k. So if you want to raise taxes on high income earners, which business owners don't earn high incomes, they don't earn incomes at all, you're actually raising taxes on your grandma. So just a fun fact there, that has nothing to do with this study. All right, 3 out of 4 millionaires, 75%, said that regular, consistent investing over a long period of time is the reason for their success. Well, by the way, I need to actually show you guys some screenshots on the screen. Some of you guys did well on these quizzes that I put out, but other you guys did not get these questions right. So this is what's prompting this whole video. Most of you guys got the questions right. I couldn't get you guys on the public versus private school thing, but it was interesting to see what you guys thought. You guys were very surprised by how few people actually made a very high income, averaging $100,000 over the course of their career, in this study anyways. I've seen different numbers in different studies. So breaking down the inheritance part, this one is really interesting right here. So 79% of millionaires did not receive any inheritance at all. Only 1 in 5 millionaires, or 21%, received some inheritance, and only 3% received an inheritance of 1 million or more. So in other words, only 3% of the people became millionaires solely because they received an inheritance. So that means that 97% of the millionaires did not get there because of $1 million gift. Okay, millionaires don't always make the big bucks. This one was interesting right here. So only 15% of millionaires were in senior leadership roles, or CEO, CFO, COO, etc. So in other words, the people that are most shot at, they're taking most shots from the politicians who say these people are the elites, the rich. Very few of those people are actually included in America's millionaires. So there's just not very many of those people. So it makes sense that a lot of people that are wage earners, people that own smaller businesses or whatever, they are the people that are actually becoming millionaires. So they're the ones that are actually saving up that amount of money. 93% of millionaires say they got their wealth because they worked hard, not because they had big salaries. So you really have to have a plan to become a millionaire. No matter how much people make, we've seen athletes go completely broke. We've seen anybody can go broke if their mindset is wrong. So a lot of you guys got this one right. Actually, 88% of millionaires graduated from college compared to 33% for the general population. Over half of the millionaires in the study earned their master's or doctoral degree compared to 12% for the general population. So 62% of millionaires actually went to public and state schools. So to me, this kind of makes sense statistically. If you think about it, there's fewer private Ivy League slots. So there's fewer people in general that are going to those schools. So it only makes sense that most people that become millionaires are coming from those private schools. I think an interesting thing that could be a confounder is to say, what percentage of people go on to become millionaires from each one of those types of schools. But regardless of that, the point being, you don't have to go to these Ivy League schools to be a millionaire. So anyways, hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys hit the links down below. There's free money down there. Easily, you guys can make about 300 bucks down there. So I hope this changed you guys' perspective. There's definitely a gap between what people think millionaires are and what they actually are. They're hardworking people. They're usually cheap. They don't typically make that much money. They saved $1 million rather than making $1 million. They invested their money, 80% enrolled in their 401k. So go out there, get those tax benefits. Make sure you're investing consistently each month, taking out your debt, and I'll see you guys in the next video.